On Bosstraat, facing Tonisstraat, the statue of Petrus Regout stands in front of a colossal factory building behind a long wall. The enormous white building is popularly called the Eiffel. The industrial monument is flanked by the old Penitentenpoort. This name reminds of the convent of penitent nuns that used to be here. The gate formed the entrance to the Regout factory complex. Left of the gate stands the Sphinx office building, which dates from the 60s. Petrus Regout, P to his friends, came from a family of traders in pottery and chinaware. He was born in 1801, and in 1825 he married well-off Aldegonda Huberex. P worked at his mother's shop, and he turned out to be an excellent trader. He occupied himself with wholesale trade and the purchase of glassware and pottery. Thanks to Regout, the Industrial Revolution in the Netherlands started in Maastricht, and Petrus Regout himself was the country's first captain of industry. He managed to make clever use of the war situation that had resulted from the Belgian Revolution. This revolution had broken out in Brussels in 1830, and in 1839 it led to the independence of the Kingdom of Belgium, which had been part of the United Kingdom of the Netherlands since 1815. Out of necessity, Regout, who started out as a trader, decided to become a manufacturer of glasswork and pottery himself. The trade in glasswork and pottery stagnated, but the Belgian import ban was lifted in 1834. Regout decided to make use of this, and a year later, he purchased an enormous steam engine. Now it was possible to put 37 Belgian crystal grinders to work. It was the starting signal for the Maastricht industrialization. Another year later, in 1836, Regout established his pottery factory, which has been known as the Sphinx since 1899. And that was not all. Together with his brother Thomas, P established a nail factory, a rifle factory in 1846, and a gasworks in 1850. In fact, the entire quarter around Bosstraat, north of the market square, made up Regout's empire. Approximately 200 meters down the street, on the right, lies the Timmerfabriek, carpentry factory, supplier to the other companies. This is also the location of the inner harbour, called Het Bassin, the basin, which was used for the supply of materials and the transport of finished goods. Most workers lived in the side streets of Bosstraat, across from the factory gate. In the 1970s, this neighbourhood has been almost entirely replaced with a new development, Bosstraatkwartier Oost. Regout, manufacturer and trader, needs to be looked at in the light of his time. He was a typical 19th century manufacturer who wanted to be, very paternalistically, father, advisor and protector to his workers. Later on, his son's hard-boiled management gave Regout a bad name as a preeminently capitalistic exploiter. And so the statue, which has been standing there since 1965, was often covered in graffiti. In 1848, Petrus Regout was appointed member of the upper chamber by his friend King William II because of all the things he had done for the industry. A year later, he commissioned a portrait. It portrays him in the ceremonial uniform that goes with the important position. The manufacturer is mortalized in a royal pose. He points to what possibly were the deeds of foundation of his factories. This is a manner of portrayal which, at the time, was really only used for royal official portraits. His chest is adorned with the royal honours he was awarded for the beautiful crystal chandeliers he had made for the Dutch as well as the French king, and which he had been awarded a high French honour for. Regout became a very rich man, and he bought several stately country houses, like Castle Voshartelt. In 1863, Regout commissioned a lithograph for a Friend album. It was based on the official portrait. Suddenly, there were a few striking details in which the lithograph differed from the painted portrait. The back of the chair bears the coat of arms that, by then, had been granted to him as an authentic family coat of arms. The border of the tablecloth shows the initials PR, topped with a crown, a symbol that was only worn by barons or counts. This tells us something about Regout's aristocratic pretensions. To his regret, Petrus Regout was never ennobled. He would have loved to have moved in noble circles as Lord Voshartelt. He died there in 1878. His company, the Royal Sphinx, continued production with varying success. Production was shifted to mainly sanitary pottery. Sphinx employed many generations of Maastricht residents. In 1999, following previous takeovers, the company came into the possession of Finnish company Sanitec, which, in 2005, expressed the desire to leave the Maastricht city centre. Together with the announced closure of the Eerste Nederlandse Cementindustrie, NC, a large cement factory, this meant the end of the large-scale manufacturing industry. Maastricht is definitely becoming the city of knowledge it has been evolving into since the foundation of Maastricht University in the 1970s.